Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. We're just gonna wait for a few minutes to let everybody in because we had quite a few registered people. Thank you so much for joining us here at ICF Jordan in collaboration with Coach U. Let's give them another minute. I love how people are sharing where they're from. Please, everyone,
Yes.
please share where you're from in the chat box. We'd love to hear where everybody is joining us. Oh, it seems like it's from different places around the world. I hope it's not too early for some of you.
شفتوا الأخلاق العالية وأنا بحكي مع الزبون تبعي ولا ما شفتوها؟
No, but we're on. Thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much. Okay. I think 5 minutes is enough for everyone to join us. Thank you for coming here for ICF Jordan, and thank you for everybody coming from all over the world. We have from Jordan, Saudi, Mexico, Singapore, India. It's really good to see that coaching brings people from around the world. And today we have an exciting topic with Ghalia, and she is as part of our collaboration with Coach Hugh. I'm gonna now hand it over to Bara, but I'm just gonna give you a little bit of housekeeping because we do have 3 sessions back to back. So we're gonna be super mindful to finish this in 55 minutes, or let's say 50 minutes. We have a Q&A at the end of this session. Either use your chat box or you can go ahead and raise your hand through the React from Zoom and just chat through your mic to Ghalia and ask her directly. Thank you so much, Bara. I'm handing it
Thank
over to
you.
you.
Thank you, Nancy. Good evening, everyone again, and welcome to our webinar. My name is Bara Abu Sharife, and I'm pleased to be with you on behalf of Coach U in collaboration with ICF as part of the International Coaching Week. So for these of you joining us for the first time, Coach U is the first Arabic-enabled coaching marketplace in the MENA region. We are specialized in business coaching across the 23 categories. We connect organizations with a network of top tiers, vetted coaches, and experts. So our mission is to unlock human potentials by offering personalized, measurable, and culturally relevant coaching solutions, making the development accessible and impactful for teams and leaders. We are especially excited to be co-hosting this session today with a community of HR professionals and coaches, people who are deeply engaged in shaping workplace culture for growth. Today's topic, Bridging Culture Through Coaching, touches on key challenges and opportunities in today's organizations, how we navigate diversity, foster inclusion, and create a shared understanding across teams. Coaching really can play a transformative role in making that happen. With that, I'm honored to introduce our speaker again, Ghalia Homsi. Ghalia is a chief of staff and specialist in organizational and human behavior, bringing over 18 years of experience in HR and organizational development. Throughout her career, she has played a key role in leading internal transformation, strengthening organizational culture, and boosting employee engagement and loyalty. Ghalia has a deep understanding of how organizations function from the inside, allowing her to effectively align business objectives with people strategies, all while fostering inclusive. And she's truly, truly passionate about building. Let's dive in, and thank you for joining us again. Ghalia.
Thank you very much, Bara. Hello, everyone. You're welcome to the webinar. I'm so excited today that I'm part of the week of ICF Coaching Week. And I'm honored to start talking about how is coaching related to or play a key role in change management. Allow me to start with a presentation. Building cultures through coaching and through coaching organizations. Today, nowadays, coaching is becoming one of the vital elements for change management. And most organizations started looking at it as an essential part of any intervention, any initiative, any change management that needs to be there. Usually it helps empowering people, empowering the organization, involving everybody and engaging them through the change process and cycle in order to at least at the end build a resilient organization that can face anything, any changes coming their way. Today it's becoming a strategic tool, not only an essential one for change management. As I said, it helps the organization to become resilient, and that is through the people. Today, people are a very essential part of any change that is happening. And through empowering people, you need the right tools to help empowering your people or the organization in the right direction. So the objectives of today's session is to understand exactly the role of coaching, to have a diverse environment and organizational culture, how to build the bridges between the cultures with whatever happening in your organization, and how to align coaching with the organizational goal and apply coaching for transformation. In today's markets, there's a lot of new technologies happening, a lot of acquisitions and merger, a lot of diversity when it comes to different generations. So diversity is becoming one big challenge, rather than in order for you to have a diverse environment and then it become your strength as an organization. Embedding all of these in one organizational culture, building the dialogue between it, it's not an easy thing. Either you're going through acquisition of new organization, either you're being merged, either there is a new CEO, the new generation is applying to your organization. There is a big gap between the language of people, new technologies. I can learn this technology, I cannot learn it. What's happening? Automating, cost cutting, optimization, all of these things are happening around us. And the main thing is, in order for any organization to succeed, is to make sure that their people understand what's happening around them and how the organization understands the changes and how fast they adapt to it and how fast they make sure that their people are on the same page and are onboarding or on board. In order for them to face any challenge, they need to be one team. So here where coaching comes into the whole equation. So first, change is everywhere. People are the heart of change. You can have the best process. You can bring the best engineers, the best tech people. They put the process, they put the systems. But if your people are not working with it, you reach nowhere. So you need to make sure that the people are on board. And the thing to make them on board, here comes the coaching part. Usually in HR, we used to say that we need to do change management programs, learning and development, new trainings, bring the system, do awareness sessions. That's great. And that's really important. You cannot move forward without it. But today, you need to customize your attention for your people. So coaching, I understand the definition of coaching for people development and personal development, which is great. But today you need coaching for organizations. As an organization, you need to have it embedded as the DNA of the organization. So you start giving customized attention for people. In any change management, you have these people who are actively engaged, and you have the actively disengaged, where they are usually the minimum percent. But you can't keep it this way. The actively engaged, you need to have them as your ambassadors. And the actively disengaged, you need to win them on board. And in order for you to do that, the only way that will be successful is by giving them a very specific, personalized attention, because each one of them has a different needs. So for the actively engaged people, you need to start creating different programs where they can spread the engagement and start getting more people engaged, and start doing the awareness one-to-one, talking about these changes, which is great. And it's much easier to work with them, honestly, rather than the actively disengaged. But the actively disengaged, most of the time, they have a very valid reasons why they are disengaged. And they have blind spots that you need people to help them. You can't say they are actively disengaged, so yeah, it's either they like it, swim or sing, they're either on board or not. You cannot do that, because at the end of the day, they are part of your organization. And you built this organization while having these people. So today you need to have this attention for each one of them to know exactly why they are disengaged and what are the challenges that they are facing through the change management that they're doing. And sometimes you need to really tackle these things because it's quite valid. So that's why coaching should become more into the DNA of the organization, to have it as one team. And believe me, once you have part of the disengaged people become engaged, you have like 50% of the organization on board. Because when they become engaged, they become extremely actively engaged, because now they believe with heart and mind what needs to be done. It's not like they're just enjoying the journey. They are part and they are change makers. The second thing is build resilience within the organization and accountability. So when you have engaged people within the organization, they are passionate about change. And with coaching, they will understand what needs to be done and how they can do it. And they will better understand themselves and how they are part of this change. So accountability becomes part of it. And usually organizations that has no accountability, they cannot move forward. So it is part of building accountability and having one vision, unifying the direction of all the people by giving certain attention to certain people. And finally, like it or not, we know that leaders shape the culture of the organization. And most of our people look up to the leaders. And here where we always say, walk the talk. So whatever you're saying as a leader, you need to do it because people are looking at it. You're being a role model. The accountability, the higher you go, your accountability becomes much more than any junior person. So you need to make sure that you are on the right track. And this is where coaching for leaders becomes very essential. In any change management program, any company that starts working on their change management, they need to look specifically on the leadership, either middle management or the higher management. And this is where we say cascade down, because the culture, people are looking at their leaders and how they are acting, and then they start taking direction and tasks from them and how to do it. So you have the performance management system, you have the feedback sessions, all of these things. It's always related to the leader. And here where we start introducing coaching programs within the organization. And coaching programs, you have the formal and the informal. The formal, usually the higher you go with the hierarchy, you need a more formal coaching sessions with a specialized person. And I think as ICF, most of you here knows what is the coaching sessions and how it starts, but you have career coaching, executive coaching, especially for the executives. This should be a formal coaching programs that has feedback. They put personal development plans, they start working on it. And most of the leadership coaching sessions should be 100% aligned with the organizational objective and strategy. And not to freak out, but some leaders usually decide to leave at this stage because they realize that it is not their role or it's not their mission. And it is okay, because you need the people on board to be actually heart and mind on board, and they are willing to change. And whoever feels that this journey is not his or hers anymore, it is okay. But you need to do it through a proper coaching rather than the usual conflicts that happens within the organization. And then we go to the rest of the organization. So we have the formal and we have the informal. The informal is peer-to-peer. I think most of us, we have this cup of coffee with our favorite person within the organization. And this is where the informal coaching comes. So whoever comes and say, this is what happened, I was angry, this is what they asked me to do, this is not appropriate, I don't accept this mission. But in general, if you have informal coaching and the people are trained to ask the right questions, then you can lead people to realize what is happening and how to make it a better place to work in. So you would say, why do you think this triggered these negative feelings? If we go back in time, how do you think you can manage it better? Why do you think this person said so? How can we make it better? Is there an option to change? So people start realizing, and with coaching, we have really, it helps us understand ourselves more than anything else. So whenever we have this informal, ongoing coaching within the organization, things will start getting better for everyone. And we start realizing, and it's like the pebbles effect. So whatever happens with me, I'll start leading it with someone else, and then the coaching becomes as part of the DNA within the organization, that we understand where we're going and what we want, and how to understand ourselves better, and how to move forward much faster and easier. And then we have the performance management system or the feedback sessions. So when we actually train the leaders or get them certified, or they understand the coaching essence and they start working on it with their teams, you make sure that the direction of the organization or the strategy of the organization is properly cascaded down, and everybody is aligned with their performance management system, with their alignment conversations, with their town hall meetings. Everybody is having the same language. They are discussing the same things in a better way. And how is this happening? Through coaching sessions that takes place for the leaders or with the teams, and by trying to align the way of thinking in the strategic direction. And I'm not saying that coaching should give you the telling methodology what to do, because definitely it's not that way. But by asking the right questions, you make people realize what's the direction of the organization and how to align their values to the organization, or how to have a common ground, common language between my own values and the organizational values, and how I can move forward and contribute to that. So whenever you're creating a change management program, and there is a lot of methodologies that happens and that takes place, we need to make sure that coaching becomes a pillar of that change management program, in order to have the buy-in of people. And the impact of coaching is much higher than the learning and the training programs. They are quite essential, but coaching is much more. Why? Because the ideas comes from within, comes from you. You come up with a solution, and then the accountability and ownership is much higher. So that's why coaching becomes much more important nowadays. This is one thing. The other thing, it becomes, it makes us accept the diversity and the other people thinking by realizing our biases. So we understand that it's us, it's not the people. We understand that this triggered something in me. It's not X or Y or Z. So it encourages openness and acceptance for different people, for different ideas. It helps asking the right questions for the different people around you, so you will understand where they are coming from, what they have in mind, how this will help us achieve better. So that's why whenever you create a coaching program, either I just put here a couple of examples, either the Cotter's 8 Steps or ADCOR, where you create the awareness for the people. Why are we going there? So this is a very important thing. Why are we doing this change? Why this change management or this initiative is important? Where we're going? What's in it for me? Why am I important to be part of this change? What knowledge will I acquire, or what knowledge will I apply for this initiative, and how this will award me in the future? So these are very important things to look at and to have it embedded in your coaching sessions within any change management program. So coaching should become part of the DNA, as we said, but also it should be part of the DNA of any change management initiatives. In order to start any change management initiative, we need to understand, why am I doing it? What's the goal from it? And who are the people either impacted or the audience, or the people who should work on that? So it's like any, let's say, product development that you need to introduce to the market from business side. You would say, what is this product? Why am I doing it? Will it increase revenue? Will it help me will it impact the efficiency, effectiveness of the organization, even PR with my image, my brand value? So there is always any change management initiative should help the organization reach its goals. And this is how we need to link it together. And in order to help us move faster, we have to identify the target audience that we will be working with. And this is how coaching comes in. So you would know who is your target audience, what kind of coaching you need. Is it internal, external, formal, informal? Is it group coaching? What is it exactly that needs to be there? Then who are leading this change? Leaders are important as leaders, but also we have the informal leaders within the organization, that they are the people, the go-to people. So we have different influencers within the organization, and these influencers usually should become the internal coaches of the organization, should be trained, because they are the people sounding board, where everybody goes there and say, you know what, I just need to vent. I need you to listen of what's happening. So we need to work on these. So we need to identify the leaders that they will be within this initiative or within this change management program. Finally, HR people should understand what coaching is and how important it is for the organization. If you have your leadership and HR on board when it comes to coaching programs, most of your mission is achieved. But if both of them are not with that approach, then the challenge is double, and the change period will take much longer, because any cultural change will take minimum 2 years to 5 years. With coaching, it's evident that it's becoming much faster because the buy-in of people is becoming much faster. But if these two are not there, so your challenge is a bit bigger. Once you have the coaching, once the HR are on board and you have coaching as part of the HR methodologies, then things will become much easier, because it will be not only in an intangible or change management programs, it will become on the day-to-day work. Like I said, performance management system needs coaching. Town hall meetings. You have it with learning and development. You have it with personal improvement plans. You have it with performance improvement plan. Whenever you have someone who's underperforming and you need to understand why. So once it starts ongoing, the coaching will become ongoing. It will become part of the know-how of the HR. So it's part of their skills of how they're doing. And then you will have the HR as change ambassadors, as well as the change management ambassadors, or the strategy office, or whoever who is leading this change management. So this is one very important thing, that you have it within the HR processes and functions. So in order to go to the management and say, we need to have coaching within our organization. It's great, study says that, this is the impact, perfect. But for them to have the buy-in, they need to see results. So how are we going to measure the impact of coaching within the organization? And what we say, return on investment. I know it's very difficult to measure the return on investment specifically for things that are intangible, whereas it's change with a human behavior. True, but there is other things that indicate the impact of coaching, which is the retention or the turnover ratio. Once you start having, once the turnover ratio start going down, you understand that you're doing something right. So this is something, and you need to know exactly what are the initiatives and how it is impacting the turnover. Employee engagement scores. So if you have a pulse survey or employee engagement score, and you understand that there is something happening, and you have the indicators that are linked to coaching and communication, then you can measure how your coaching programs are impacting the organization. The productivity of the people, which is their appraisals or the engagement, going the extra mile. Your awards and recognition percentile. Are people started asking for awards? Is there achievements that are happening? So these are all indicators saying that you're doing something right. And if coaching program is part of your change management initiative, and you can tell that these things are because of coaching, then you can easily link it to the return on investment of coaching. Numbers are great. Now, for change management in specific, communication is very, very, very important. So if we talk about success stories, we need to create success stories within the organization in order for people to understand that this change is positive. We all fear of change, and we all want to go back to the way we know how to do things. New things are not easy to follow, and fear of failure is mainly the thing that stops us from moving forward. We always lack our comfort zones. It's how we used to do business, it worked, why are we changing now? So in order to motivate people to change, we need to start creating success stories. And we need people to talk about their journey and talk about their success story. What happened? What were the challenges? How did they overcome these challenges? How do they feel when they are successful? If the time goes by, what would they do? Would they change things? How did coaching help them cope and succeed at the end of the day? So we need to start creating these success stories and interview people and announce them and let them talk about it, so that the positive energy start growing within the organization, and you have more buy-in for your change management initiative and for coaching as well. And finally, is you need your management team to start seeing these impacts, either by the success stories, either by the impact on the end of year results, like return on investment, like revenues, because you can link engagement results to revenues. You can link retention factors to revenues, or to coaching, engagement levels. All of these, you can quantify it, and you can understand exactly what is the percent of enhancement that happened because of the coaching. I'm not saying is 100% right, because there is a lot of intangible factors that it's not easy to measure. However, you can assess, and you can assume that this enhanced by 20%. And this is how we can quantify. Like if you have a change management, certain initiatives, you can easily quantify it. If you have a change management or change initiative for the sales team and you look at the sales numbers, it's much easier. However, if you have something about leadership, you can look at it from 360 surveys or upward appraisals, and this is something else that you can measure. However, it's more of a result of enhancement in leadership skills, but in order to link it to tangibles and revenues, it's a bit difficult. But management need to understand that even this is a factor that will help them overcome the challenges and meet their new goals much easier. So if we want to talk about KPIs for coaching effectiveness, we need to know number of coaching sessions, the impact, if we can do a survey after certain coaching sessions for people so they understand and we can assess either our internal coaching or the coaching programs. We can have the employee engagement surveys. We can have the enhancement in performance development plans where people are asking for their development and they are committed to it. So these are KPIs that can be put. Feedback groups and success tracking, as I said, already covered by the development plans. Where was I? How am I doing? The leadership assessment is very important, so we'll understand if it's enhanced. And the long-term culture and business benefits. And this is where it is something intangible, where you can see the culture change. And this is something they usually call it the organizational health index, which is part of it is employee engagement, but there is other surveys that actually measures the culture and the culture change. So these are things that is important, and it can measure how the organizational change or the coaching helped in changing the organizational culture. At the end of the day, coaching is an essential tool. It's very important. It helped us understand where we are and where we're going. But today it's become one of the most vital tools for change management and for organizations to grow. And it's becoming one of the most vital tools for CEOs, because CEOs are mainly, they are the one facing the changes in the external environment, and they need their teams to be with them. But when you look at most of our organizations, you look at the CEO, you see him running because he understands where he's going, what's happening, but they forget to communicate why they are doing that. And when they look back at the organization, they see them back way in a different place, and they get frustrated because of that. The thing is, first, communication, and the most important thing is the executive coaching, because they need to understand how to convey the messages that they want to their teams, how to make sure their teams are on board and with them, and they have the same pace and the same view of moving forward. This is one thing. The other thing, they need to understand how diversity will help them moving forward and will help them to meet different challenges in different way, because most of big organizations really have a very excellent technical team. So they understand technical, I mean specialized in their areas, not mainly technical. So they understand more, and the successful leaders will understand that they need specialized people to work with them. But in order for them to work perfectly, they need to understand the language and how to talk to them. So they need to coach them. And in order for leaders to coach other leaders, they need to be coached. And that's how coaching is becoming executive coaching is becoming a very, very important and essential part of any organization. So CEOs will understand how to take the external part, explain it to their team, and having them on board, and what they need to do to make the change much faster, and how to walk the talk. So for me, this is how coaching can help in organizational change. I've been through different change management initiatives and programs. Each culture is different, from leadership, from type, from market, from audience, generations. So usually you need really to assess where you are what are the needs, and how to move forward, what was tried or been done before, and how you need to move forward, and what are the initiatives that you would like to have. And coaching can be a great tool for you for two things. One, aligning people, and the other thing, as an output of the sessions, if it is acceptable to share from the individual the feedback for the organization in order for you to build a better change management programs and to better enhance the organizational culture. So please let me know if anyone has a question and how can we do that.
Hey, Ghalia, we do have you in our chat box.
Okay, I need to open the chat. Okay.
Do you see internal coaches within the organization being more effective in the case of a change? You know,
Sorry,
versus
again, because I
external
was trying to
coaches.
read.
Do you
Sorry.
see internal coaches within the organization being more effective in the case of a change, versus the external coaches? Like, which one is better, internal or external?
Actually, you need both. And also it depends on the size of the organization. So external coaching, if you have a very high sensitivity within the organization and the executives are very sensitive for that, external coaches most of the time are much more effective because whenever you have the session with an external coach, the trust or the opening to open up is much easier for any executive, and you know that it is quite confidential, so nothing will go out. The internal coaches is great for more of the day-to-day work, so it's on a lower scale. So it's on a daily incidents, people within each other, influencers. This is where it becomes part of the culture, and this is how you can accept external coaching. But external coaching has a much higher rate in acceptance when it comes to leaders. And that's where, because you need the leaders to open up and to accept coaching and to have the coaching session with heart and mind in order for them to change. Other than that, nothing will happen. And that's why external coaching is very important and impactful.
Thank you, Ghalia. We have another question. I'm gonna change it to a question. Like, when we are trying to find a sponsor within a company, like, who do we go to? The HR, the CEO, the CFO, who would we turn to as a sponsor, usually for external coaches? I'm guessing this question is for.
In order for you to find the right sponsor, it's either you go with a hierarchy. So usually it's the CEO or the COO, if you have that. If the HR department is a strong HR department, this is something important that they can reinforce and they can sponsor the whole program. But usually, if you have a very influential leader within the organization, either a CFO or strategy or whatever, and they can influence other people, I would say that would be the right sponsor for any initiative.
Thank you so much, Ghalia. Another one from Raphael. How do you recommend to measure current culture and desired culture?
Okay, first, you need to understand what is the desired culture that you have, that you want to have. So if we're talking about different industries, let's say banking, it's completely different than youth development. It's completely different than legal organizations, than tech organizations. So you need to understand what is the right culture for your organization that will help you reach your goals. So let's say I'm a technology company, which I am now. We need to be fast. Diversity is very important. Accepting new ideas is very important. Flat structure is very important because you need to meet the market or attend to market needs very fast. Okay, so this is a culture that you put the elements. What is the right culture for me? So this is the desired culture. And then you start assessing, today, where am I from these pillars? And there is a lot of surveys that you can do. And mainly it is surveys because, or external consultant. Why am I saying external consultant? Because whenever the HR or someone internally will measure the culture, there's always a challenge that this is how you see it, not how I see it. So whenever you have someone external comes and measure the culture and says, this is the survey, this is what it says, 1, 2, 3, 4, based on these questions. And this is as a consultant coming and interviewing people. So this is a much more objective tool that you can talk to the management about it and say, you know what, this is how we achieved the desired culture. And the desired culture, again, it's according to the goals that you need to have. So where you're going, what is your desired culture? It's great if you can have a workshop with a management team so they all understand and accept and have the buy-in. What is the desired culture? So it's unified. Everybody has the same definition of the desired culture. And then you bring the external people or the external consultant to measure. And then you do the gap analysis and says, you know what, this is where we fall behind. This is where we are advanced. And then you start creating initiatives to change that. We can't hear you.
We have a comment that I would love you to address, or if you want, I can address it as well. Someone, Oksani, I'm not sure, Oksana, not sure, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, but it can be the opposite as well. When people start leaving after coaching, feeling they deserve something better or finding other purpose in life.
Yeah, it is okay.
Very interesting.
But at the same time, isn't coaching like, I'm not like organizational coaching usually, but the goals comes from the company itself. It's not like personal coaching.
And the
And I
purpose
think
is
there's
for
a line
learning.
to have there, right, Ghalia?
Yeah, I think listen, today as an organization, you need people whose heart and mind within the organization. And nowadays with the new generations, you can't have them like more than 3 years because there is always something better, something there, and they're always following their passion. Whenever you need someone within your organization, you need them to be engaged. So if this person is desperate, sad, not giving, not productive, really, if I'm doing him a favor by showing him the right way, and it's not like I'm imposing or I'm terminating or anything, and they find that there is something better for them outside, even if you lose them as an employee, you will always have them as an advocate. You will always have them as a customer, and you will always have them as someone who is promoting your organization. Look at your organization as an organization that is building communities. So whenever you go out, they would say, yeah, we worked with this organization. And I've worked with one of the organizations this way. After I left, whenever we meet someone, everybody says, from where you know each other, we worked at X. And you start seeing it more as a community because we were treated very well within our employment and after that. And this is where you have your champions, even if they are not within the organization. It's okay if I can help them find their journey. And believe me, once you do that, they will always help you and support you whenever you're in need as an organization.
I totally agree. Yes,
Beautifully
I totally agree,
answered.
Ghalia. Yes,
Thank
very
you, Ghalia.
honest and true answer.
Thank you. Another from Anand, do you see a mix of team coaching and one-on-one coaching in the case of change?
Definitely. Definitely, but you start with one-on-one coaching in order to introduce that. Team coaching is very important to unify the goals and to unify the vision. It is very important. And sometimes teams coaching will help you identify the actively disengaged people, or let's say the neutrally disengaged people, where you can actually tackle the challenges that they are facing. Because neutral people, usually they don't talk. Or passive disengaged people, they usually don't talk. They are just disengaged. In order for you to get them engaged, you need them to speak up. So coaching creates a safe environment for people to speak up their minds and not to fear judgment. Once you create this environment, the bonding of the team will become much more stronger. It will become stronger. And this is where you have a stronger team, a safe space for people to speak up, and you will understand more what are the challenges in order for you to start tackling them. But if they are not there and not talking, you wouldn't know what's happening.
I love that, because you're creating a psychological safe environment where everybody can grow as well, and change needs that. Beautiful. A follow-up question. Someone, Rafael, sorry, is asking, what is the minimum amount of one-to-one coaching sessions do you recommend for change to happen?
It depends on the person, but not less than 3.
True.
Because some people just need a reminder or something, a trigger, and others need a full program of coaching and different stuff.
Yeah, that's why coaching is so sweet, because something comes up, super interesting.
It's very customized.
Okay. Thank you, Rafael. Raja, he's asking, how do you measure coaching ROI in a change program?
Okay. It is not easy. ROIs in general, when it comes to anything with the human behavior, as I said, it's not easy. But usually you try to calculate the tangible output of that program. What are the tangible outputs? Is it revenues? Is it number of sales? Is it productivity? So if these things are available, you have the percent. So how much this increased, so you'll have this percent. The other thing is you try to assess the intangible things and try to quantify them if possible. So let's say the turnover ratio. The turnover ratio went down by X amount. How will this impact the hiring cost? And then you estimate the hiring cost. And you have this minus the cost of the coaching over the coaching cost, and then you will have the percent of ROI. But usually to quantify the numbers, the benefits, is the challenge.
Because sometimes it takes a long time to see that effective change, doesn't it?
True. True.
How much time?
But what do you
less than a
say?
year.
Ghalia?
Not
How
less
much?
than a year. Not less than a year.
Yeah.
You need
but
to
what do
close the whole cycle.
What do you say to the organization who are not interested? Like they say, I don't want to wait a year, or it's not even worth the investment.
Yeah.
I just prefer to
But if you
keep
don't,
bringing new
there is
people in.
true. There is a popular says, like a CFO and CEO. The CEO wanted to invest in people and learning. I don't know if people and say, what if we invested and they leave? And the CEO says, what if we don't invest and they stay? It's the same thing here. It's okay, it takes a year, but at least it takes a year or 2. And all the study says that it takes a year or 2. What if you don't change and you don't invest in coaching or in change management within your organization? Where will you be in a year? That's the difference. So they need to understand where they're going. And change is not easy, it's a risk, but you need the right people to take that risk. Coaching is the safe environment to help you get there faster. So if you don't want coaching, great, it's up to you, or change management, perfect. But where will you be in a year?
Well, as a CFO of a company, I'd like to defend all CFOs in the world. And say we like to invest in people as well, because it costs less money to have retention. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we do have, I'm just gonna ask everybody, we have time for another 3 questions. So if anybody would like to ask, please feel free to chat in the chat box, or raise your hand, or jump in the conversation. or even if you want to share thoughts or perspective, you're welcome to as well. Meanwhile, can you, Ghalia, please share the QR
Your
code?
contacts, yeah.
Yes, I will. But
So
please, there is a question, I think, but I
yeah,
think this
while
is
you're
too quick.
sharing QR code, we
We
can
skip.
answer
Okay.
them. So I see it. Well, I'm trying to
Sorry, just a
multitask to
second.
stay on time.
Okay. So I'll go here. I hope it's
So
sharing.
please, in this QR code, please scan it or take a photo of it and scan it later on, and use your email that you logged in through Zoom, so we can send you the CC units, because you know ICF is very particular in being honest when we give certificates. And meanwhile, Ghalia, if you can keep it up for people to scan it.
Yeah,
The
I'm gonna keep it
question
here.
is, how do you handle cultural differences?
Okay. First, you need to have an awareness within the organization that you're okay with cultural differences. Second, HR needs to have a very, very vital role in that and have it as part of your values and part of code of conduct. So cultural sensitivity should be part of that. Third, coaching should be part for, should have for two things. First, for the people who are from minority, let's say. So they will accept that they are a minority and it's okay to speak up their mind, where you create the safe space. And then coaching for leaders, where they need to make sure that their teams are accepting each other properly. And believe me, cultural sensitivity is important, people coming from different culture. But what I found is much more challenging is the ideas and the mindset diversity. Because it's easier for people to accept people from different culture, but it's not easy to accept people with different mindsets. So it's mainly for the leaders to work on that.
Thank you so much, Ghalia.
Ghalia, I want to ask you, what if the organizations or the upper management, they don't believe in the coaching, you know, how it will affect their teams or their assets, and how you can convince them to invest?
Okay, as I said, they need to understand if they don't invest in coaching, what they are losing. So this is something needs to be done within the organization. Why we are going there? What's the need of it? So different teams, different organization. Each organization is different. So first of all, what we are losing if we're not having coaching. Second, try to have an executive coaching session with the decision makers.
Yeah.
Because once they are in, they are in. Third, try to introduce technical coaching sessions. And this is where it's much easier. So let's say I need to build a business plan. It's my first time. I don't really know how to do it. I'm new in this career. I did a shift career. So, and this is, by the way, this is where I like Coach You, because it's not only on the regular coaching that we know. It's also on the technical part or the specialty. So let's say you did a career shift and there's something new. You find an expert matter in that session and they start coaching you how to do it, not teaching, coaching, which is
Coaching.
different.
Yeah.
Exactly. Teaching, I'm telling, I give you the know-how and that's
Training,
it.
yes.
I take you through the journey,
And I
asking
help you
so
to unlock. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And whenever you start doing that with decision makers, they will understand, because for them, this is much faster and easier than the intangible stuff, because this is something that they do and they practice and it will give them results. So I would say start with these things, start introducing this as learning and development program for technical stuff. And then you build it as part of leadership development. So sometimes you say coaching, others you don't say. You say leadership development, you say technical development, you know. So you need to find your way. It depends on your management team, your CEO, and your stakeholders.
Yes.
And show them numbers of case studies where it worked.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Thank you so much, Ghalia. Thank you so much, Coach Hugh. I have one question which is directed to ICF Jordan, so I'm going to answer it. Would be interested in understanding how to get our training points for this course. As I said, just scan this QR code, enter your email, your name that you want on your certificate, and everybody will receive theirs in 2 weeks, because we had a lot of sessions the last couple of weeks and we need time to get them all sorted. So scan it and use again the email that you're using for Zoom. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. And on behalf of ICF Jordan chapter and as the president of ICF Jordan, and thank everybody, because I'm seeing a lot of people coming from everywhere. Thank you so much. And please have a great evening, morning, afternoon, wherever you are. Sending big of heart and loves. Thank you, Ghalia. This has been very informative. And thank you, Bara and Coach U
Thank
team.
you.
It's
Thank
always
you.
amazing to
Thank
collab
you.
with
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
so
for the
much.
valuable insights, Ghalia. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. I'm
Thank
closing
you.
the
Bye
meeting
bye.
now. Bye
Have
bye.
a nice night. Okay, bye bye.
Bye.